Arbonne, the pyramid scheme, the commercial cult, the MLM, multi-level marketing company. It's known for its sachets of fizz sticks, not to be confused with piss sticks, and certainly not jizz sticks. Arbonne Fizz is another pyramid scheme gimmick product. Get clean energy, nutrient dense, replace your coffee. The Arbonne pyramid scheme was born in the same year I was, 1975, and it arrived in Canada in 2006. We all know what happens when people get in at the beginning of a pyramid scheme, but there's another aspect of rising to the top of a pyramid scheme that you might not have thought about, and that's when celebrities join a pyramid scheme. And what about when a celebrity joins a pyramid scheme at the beginning of the launch of that pyramid scheme into their country? They get to the top, same predictable bullshit. Celebrities, just like everyone else, that get to the top of these pyramid schemes believe they're special, that they vibrate at a higher frequency. They have an increased self-awareness. They manifest better. They work harder than you. They don't make excuses. They don't have a victim mindset, and they're certainly not living in scarcity. MLMs use celebrity involvement to give them legitimacy. We couldn't possibly be a pyramid scheme. Look at this celebrity that has signed up with us. Like I said, same predictable bullshit. Which brings me to the topic of this video. My friend and fellow anti-MLM advocate, Brandy Hadfield, we did a live stream together here on my channel. And she's also appeared on A Little Bit Culty and Life After MLM podcasts, sent me a DM after watching Eva's video about Canadian actress Camila Scott at the top of the Arbonne pyramid scheme. Brandy and I are going to react to a video on Instagram put out by Camila Scott. And we're going to debunk her claims and expose the manipulative tactics that she's using.
Hey! Oh, friends. Okay, so it is Friday, October 20th. It's my 15-year anniversary with Arbonne. And I was threatening yesterday to go live today. I've never done a live. I'm actually kind of sick to my stomach right now. I was going to do this at 12 o'clock. So I asked one of my girls who's all over Instagram, I was like, when's the best time to do a live? And she said 12 o'clock, but it's 11:32. I was so nauseous thinking about it that I thought I better just do it, because I'm going to talk myself out of it. I'm so nervous about doing it. I have a thought. So hi.
Yes.
Right away when she said, I asked one of my girls who's all over Instagram, I just had this vision in my mind, because I was that girl, right? Like I was that girl with the uplines, like asking me for advice, or the upline is like, can you rephrase this post because you're so good at wording? Or what do you know what I mean? Like and I felt so like honored that she is up here and I'm down here, but I'm the trusted, never occurring to me that this is free labor. Like I'm not getting paid to be her consultant on social media. Just
exactly.
We don't know that her girl who's all over social media is one of her downline. We can only guess.
Probably is. And I find it disingenuous because she's an actress. Like, come on, you're really nervous about doing a live video. I think that this is a ploy because you have to appear to be duplicatable. When I was in Rank Makers, Ray would say, if you're a doctor, say that you work at a hospital. Don't say that you're a doctor, because everything that you have to do has to be duplicatable. Like, look at me. I'm so uncertain and nervous. I've never done a Facebook Live video or an Instagram video. And it's like, you're an actress.
You performed on stage live in front of a studio audience. Who knows? All of the things.
Prey on vulnerable people.
I think they do.
Prey on vulnerable people.
I think they do.
I'm here, and I'm here to just share with you how I got started in Arbonne. So it's actually a funny story. So even if
Camila, you're in a pyramid scheme. Arbonne is a pyramid scheme. It's a commercial cult. It's a multi-level marketing company. I just want to say that right off the bat. I hope you get out. I hope you wake up and do the right thing. You do not know what the definition of pyramid scheme selling according to Canada's Competition Act, Section 55.1. I suggest you familiarize yourself with it, because you're going to be hearing about it more and more.
Curious, Julie, maybe we can talk about this at the end.
Sure.
Do you think she's where is the line between victim and, because I ask myself this question every day. And that's why I wrote that open letter to celebrities, because what I've concluded at this point is that if you're willing, like in multi-level marketing, we're always trained to say, if you're open. So if you're open, people, leaders in multi-level marketing, are you open? Like, truly open to familiarizing yourself with the definition of a pyramid scheme, not just like calling it hate, but like actually being as open as you hope that your prospects are to take in the information about the definition of a pyramid scheme, about the psychology of cults and how they work, to look at the numbers dead on, like the statistics versus the magical thinking. Read Ponzinomics. Just read one book. Are you open to reading one book? And then what do you think? At that point, you either say, yeah, I knew all of this, and I am knowingly complicit, and then there's our answer. Or you say, oh shit, I did not know this, and then I hope you do the right thing. That is where I am at. I don't know what you think.
There are people that know exactly what they're doing. And I don't know if Camila Scott is one of them. I hope not. I hope she's just as brainwashed as all of us were, in multi-level marketing. But there's going to be that resistance, just like there's always that resistance. But she's got a responsibility because she's a celebrity and she's taking advantage of people. She is defrauding people just like we all were in multi-level marketing. And it's going to be a blight on her reputation. People are going to be looking at her like, oh my God, you're in a fucking pyramid scheme. All these years, it's going to like make sense every time like she's at a dinner party or she's going to somewhere and she's talking about Arbonne, her network marketing business. And people are like, oh my God, 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 does not equal unlimited income earning potential, Camila. You're in a fucking pyramid scheme.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not interested, you might actually kind of enjoy it. So 15 years ago today, I met with a friend of mine. She said she had sent me an email saying, I have a really great, I don't know, am I supposed to say hi to people when they show up? But hi, everybody, I see people joining. Anyway.
That's so funny and relatable.
She said, I have a great business opportunity for you. She said, it's a new company in Canada. It's called Arbonne. It's a health and wellness company. And I actually thought that Arbonne was looking for a spokesperson because I'm an actress. And at the time I was starring in a show in Toronto called We Will Rock You. And I just thought, oh my gosh, this would be amazing. Like a spokesperson jobs are always very lucrative. And so I met with her at a Starbucks and she told me about Arbonne and I was absolutely mortified. Like she's a very successful songwriter, singer in Canada, Amy Sky. If you know Amy, if music's your thing, you would for sure know her.
If music's your thing.
Sorry, what's that?
Music's my thing. I think I know the name, but
fucking thing, and I never heard of it. Who the fuck is Amy Sky?
Well, music's clearly not our thing. It's clearly not our thing.
Yeah, clearly. But it's a good point of like, oh, it's a singer, so a lot of people are gonna, it's also another celebrity getting in near the beginning of its launch. Of Arbonne's launch into Canada, because they said that according to their website, Arbonne was introduced in Canada in 2006. So if this was
she was ground floor, 2008,
ground
2 years
floor
in.
And celebrity.
She's married to Mark Jordan, who, is also
like, who fucking cares? I don't know who Mark Jordan is. I don't give a fuck. It's like they're name dropping to people on Instagram. Like nobody knows, nobody cares.
Very prolific. Anyway, what is going on here? Like, I actually literally went home and said to my husband, this is terrible. I was like, did you read anything in the paper about Amy? Like, what happened? She's like doing some crazy, like she's
pyramid scheme.
Products. Like,
got recruited into a commercial call.
She said, okay, I don't know. This is just my opinion. I wasn't there. I wasn't a fly on the wall. I wish I was. But my guess is that she said, have you heard anything about Amy Sky? She said a fucking pyramid scheme.
Her personality has changed so suddenly. She was going off in this one direction, and it's almost like she's had a massive change in her personality and her behavior. And then I thought, fuck, I might as well join too. I was a skeptic just like you. I thought, I'm not going to get into one of those things. I honestly, it's like this is also following a script, the skeptic, cynical script. And then you're like putting up so much resistance only to then like, oh, I'll give it a try. I really love, these products.
And I was so ignorant. And then you're like, oh, I don't want to be ignorant. Maybe I could skip a couple steps and just take the plunge and the net will appear.
Yeah. I mean, after all, look at this person who I really admire, this actress.
I was so dumbfounded. So anyway, she explained Arbonne to me. I was a hell no. Like I was a no the second I realized what she was talking to me about. I wasn't even listening. I was like,
that's
I just
your
need
intuition.
To get out of here.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah. I just need to get out of here.
No,
I just need to get the hell out of here. That's your gut saying, get the hell out of here right now. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in a proper opportunity.
Nope. This is something too, like in cults, like recruitment for cults. It's like, I knew not to do this, and I'm going to tell you how much resistance I had.
Mm-hmm.
But thank goodness I just, I kept going, or I decided to overcome my own critical thinking. Celebrities, make no mistake, they are just like you and me. There's no fucking different. They are just as easily manipulated as the regular bloke on the street. There's no difference between Camila Scott getting recruited into Arbonne and anybody, like not you, Brandy, but anybody watching this, anybody getting recruited into Arbonne. It's the same thing. People are people.
Insane. She's insane. She's lost her mind. Something terrible's happened. I just said no, thank you. Good luck. And then I just couldn't get out fast enough. And then, she said, it's okay, no worries, and she gave me some skincare to take home and try. So probably the smartest decision she ever made. So I didn't even want to.
Because she recruited me.
That's a foreshadowing of get the samples.
Yeah.
Because if Amy hadn't have had all those samples to give me, then I wouldn't have realized that my skin could look so fabulous, and one thing wouldn't have led to another the way that it did. So not only are you buying the right to be a distributor, but then you've also got to be a product of the product and be able to. I was gifted. I know the whole strategy. Here and then I got it and I was like, oh my gosh, she gave me a gift, but I need it back. I'm like, oh, she just wants me to try it and have my world fucking rocked. So I'm like, what did you give me? Not only do I need to take this for the rest of my life, but I need to let everybody in my life know about it. But I was just like, okay, can you have it back now? That was a waste.
Another thing that she is foreshadowing is that myth of, if you keep going, you don't know who you're going to recruit. They're going to be the one that's on top of the pyramid scheme. And it's like, look at me, I'm the evidence of that. It was the best thing that Amy Sky could have done.
Try it. I had really dry, sensitive skin, and she gave me a skincare line that had 5 steps. And I was like, who does that? Like, who uses 5 steps for skincare? Like, it was insane to me. But I told her I would do it, and I
do relate to that. I'm similar. Like, I was like that before I got into multi-level marketing at Mon8. And then after, when I was in Mon8, I was buying all this stuff. I even bought Rodan and Fields. And then after I got out, now I'm back to like Zest, bar soap, and Noxzema. And then I have some stuff that I've purchased from Sephora, but it's not 5 steps. So I get to that. That is quite relatable.
You know what I wonder though, because I don't use 5 steps. And the only time I ever had a problem with my skin was when I bought a 5-step beauty counter regime. And I went to the dermatologist and they were like, go to Shoppers Drug Mart and get Neostrata. And that's all I use now. I don't fucking know. But it's 1 step. Actually, no, it's Cetaphil, like the basic, and then Neostrata moisturizer. So it's technically 2 steps. But this whole thing with the serums and the whatever, and then my face felt all tingly and weird, and like it was not okay. My skin was not happy. But if you were bought in and if you had like this regime, which was 5 steps, I'm just, from a psychological point of view, you're looking at that logo, you're looking at the products, you're spending like that much time in your day devoted to this brand. I wonder what that does to you and your buy-in with the company. Like, I just think it's fascinating.
I think that's such a good point. I think it's like ritual-wise behavior, and then it's also like you're becoming a product of a product. It's also sunk cost fallacy. You're spending money and time. And for social media, it's like, well, you're already using the products. You might as well be creating content about them. I think it ties people in deep, using that many products all the time.
How many of those, do you have a lot of people on your feed that use that like vibrator on their face thing?
That I don't know. I also don't know how many people just actually use a vibrator.
Friends. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. And I tried it for a couple of days, and I noticed a huge difference in my skin immediately. So I fell in love with the product, but I wasn't even considering the business.
This is important. Both parts.
This is part one of where I want to go like chuck a chair.
Yeah.
Because have you not heard that exact same just a couple days and I fell in love with the product. This is Hunbot territory.
Yeah.
I wasn't considering the business. Yeah. But I just fell in love.
Yeah. And this is what happens. Like once people, so the first part of this is where she noticed a big difference with her skin. I noticed a huge difference when I used Mon8 shampoo. At first, I was one of the people that had great experience, great results. So, and it could be like if you haven't done anything with your skin before you change it up. Sometimes it could just be like a change, and you notice you haven't been paying close attention to it. You feel like it's a big change. Maybe is there a change? I don't know. But the second part of this is what I really want to emphasize is that people that get in just at the customer level, retail customer, or you're just like on some kind of auto ship program, whatever it is that Arbonne has, you're in the cult, you're being dripped on. You are being enticed. And that's what we call it, dripped on. When I was in Mon8 and Rank Makers, we would drip on you. We were told the best market partners or the best business partners are the ones that are already your customers. And this is what you're not even considering it, but because you're in a cult, you're getting pulled deeper and deeper in. So make no mistake, if you're thinking that, I'm just purchasing products I would never get, I'm not really supporting it, you're in a cult. It doesn't matter if you're not fully selling products or not a cult, you're in the cult.
Yeah, you're on the list and you're being talked about and discussed in meetings while multiple brains are planning the next reel in, because they just want you to take one step and then another step and then another step. It's like Scientology. It's like, I was explaining this at my family, because the baby boomers are like, I wouldn't get sucked into that. Like, no, you're not. It's not. They're not asking you to sign a billion-year contract when they meet you. That's the thing. They're saying it's $45 for a course, and the course is actually great, and they have a good experience. That's what they're getting. It's not an idiot that's falling for that. It's anybody
it's
at
deception.
all.
And I find people that say I would never get sucked in, they're already buying MLM products, and they are very quick to like explain away and minimize their involvement in it, or be like, oh shit, I was purchasing products like 10 years ago. You were part of a cult. You were involved in the cult. It's just what it is. You might not fucking like it, but that's the truth.
Every cult needs different types of people. There's the rank and file, right? So like you may not be in the inner circle. You may not be privy to everything.
That's right.
That doesn't mean you're not part of it.
That's right. And like Camila, she wanted to run. She wanted to get it. She did run. She's like, no way. What's wrong with this Amy Sky? What is going on here? And then I'm going to I'll, use these samples. And it's almost like, I wonder, they use deception on her too, where she thinks I'm going to be a spokesperson. That was, I think that's what happened. I think that was part of the play in order to recruit her. That's what I think.
And it was actually Paul. So Paul said, he said, your skin really does look great. And he said, you should do that business with Amy. And so Paul and I have been together for 35 and a half years now. He's actually known Amy longer than he's known me. When they lived in Los Angeles, when they were young artists, he was an actor, she was a singer. He knew her, and he said, she was kind of famous for spotting the opportunity. Like he's like, everybody thought that about Amy. If there was an opportunity to be had, she would spot it. And so he said, she's a really successful businesswoman, and you should maybe just do it.
That's all you have to do. You don't need to do anything else. Just if Amy Sky is in it, just like fucking balls out, balls in. Go for it. Amy, what horse are you betting on? The one that's number 4. All my money on that.
I thought, you know what? I'm going to give it a try. So just so y'all, oh my gosh, I have so many beautiful American people on my team that say y'all, and it makes me always do it. And I feel so ridiculous because I'm Canadian. I don't say y'all.
I just hope you get out one day, Camila, because this is really funny. And I've done shit like this too. This is really fucking cringe, and it's hilarious. we act like this. We're like, we realize that we fuck up, and then you try to cover it up, and it's so fake. see myself in this. I've done shit like this too.
Yeah.
Anyway, where was I? So he just so
You're
you know,
saying
where
that
I
a
was
lot
in
of
my
your
life. So-
downline is in southern United States.
Yeah, which, you know, this is something else I would like to explore, and I want to start bringing it up in subsequent videos, is about like money laundering. How the fuck does it work if like Arbonne is located, say her upline is Amy Sky. Who's Amy Sky's upline? Probably somebody in the US. So
Right.
how the fuck does it work that her downline in Canada, all these Canadians are giving all this money to America, to the US, and she isn't paying any fucking taxes, Canadian taxes.
My upline was in the United States as well. My upline all were.
Right around like I was 44 when I had my son Jack. So right before I got pregnant with Jack, things started to slow down for me. Like once I sort of got into my 40s, I was no longer an ingenue, and that's where I really made most of my living as an actor and a singer. And as I got into my 40s, things started to slow down a little. I was still working, but there's this thing that happens where producers pay you less because they know you're more desperate, right? Like as you get
kind of like when you're in a multi-level marketing company and people know that you're desperate, you can prey on them and recruit them into your pyramid scheme.
Prey on vulnerable people.
I think they
older, they're like, well, we know you need the job because we know there's less work, and so they just start offering you less money, and you have to take it because you need to put food on the table. So I was in this show, We Will Rock You. I was earning 60% less than what I was used to earning.
Okay. Time out. So there's this thing when you're an actor, or an actress, you're in a union, and in Canada it is called ACTRA. So as you can see, this is the rates for ACTRA, and it was not that much less in 2008 when Camila Scott was an actor in the stage show of We Will Rock You. So an actor has a daily fee of around $495 or an hourly rate of $61.92. So it wasn't that much less in 2008. Let's say it was $58. You can actually look that up. What were the ACTRA rates in 2008? Because I did look it up and it wasn't that much less. Unfortunate that it hasn't gone up very much, but still it's nothing to like. So basically how it works is if you're saying that you got paid 60% less, that would only be possible if you were commanding sky high rates above and beyond the other actors who are getting paid that $60 an hour. So if you were commanding $100 an hour or more than that even, and they said, for whatever reason, we can pay you what's in the agreement. We can pay you what's... And she's like, can you fucking believe that? It's because I'm 44 that they're only paying me $60 an hour now. They're only paying me what I'm guaranteed as per my union agreement. The fucking audacity. She has every right to be angry that they are discriminating because she's no longer an ingenue. What do you think?
I'm glad that you're here to expand on what that was all about, because I was like, you hear these numbers and I know in Rank Makers, that's what we were coached to do, is just like throw out these numbers. It's like, I was getting paid 60% less. This is a well-crafted story that she's probably repeated for at least 15 years now, or maybe 14 or 13 years somewhere, whenever she started to like rank up, and it's like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. So she's just saying this now, it's just by rote. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, what the fuck does that even mean? It's like, I was getting paid 60% less. If you catch it, it's like, oh my God, like what job would you have like getting paid 60% less? If you just pause and think about it, and then like what you're giving more, context. The situation, the actual information. It's like, oh, we see.
She could also potentially have her SAG card as well, because a lot of big actors in Canada will have their ACTRA and they'll have their SAG so that they can work in the United States. That's the Screen Actors Guild union, which pays even more. So she could have potentially been part of both unions, but at the very least she would have been an ACTRA, and she would have had a rate that was negotiated by her union.
There was a gap that had developed in our lives between how much was coming in and how much was going out every month. And I still was I knew I needed.
Did you have a gap with Monate too? The gap was a big part of our verbiage. I don't know why they call it verbiage. The words that we said, our scripts. It was all about like bridging the gap. So when she said there was a gap, I was like, I know that verbiage. You have to bridge the gap. Oh, I have a gap. Don't you have a gap between? I don't know what it would be with hair care, but with nutrition,
we didn't have that. We didn't use that. We didn't use that
have
phrase.
a gap.
It's something like I knew, because for me, I couldn't, there weren't enough hours in the day. Like I was working 6 days a week from noon till midnight. I had a 3-year-old at home, and that was hard too, right? Because I wasn't seeing a lot of him. I was missing a lot of things. And I remember just thinking, I need something, but I don't know what.
Stop. So this fucking grinds my gears so hard. Because he's 3 years old, she's working noon to midnight. Like, I don't even think that's bad. Like, I mean, it's long days, but she's not doing that 365 days of the year. It's gig work. So you're hustling for a period because it's film or television or stage, and then you have 3 months off, and that's my husband, that's the entertainment industry. Okay, I could appreciate that it's hard. However, what grinds my gears about it is the talking out of the both sides of the mouth. Because on one hand, she's saying, and I was missing him, and I don't want to miss him. And then later she goes on about Halloween, and I had to miss out on the trick-or-treating, and he got to be with the moms. Like, there's some misogyny there of, like, that's the mom's place to do it, not the dad. Whatever. But in another video, I think it's another video, but I've heard her say, I showed up when I didn't want to show up. I worked when I didn't want to work. When everyone else was playing, I was there grinding. So which one is it? Were you showing up when you didn't want to show up, or were you present? Like, because it can't be both. And when you're selling the present mom who's missing out in his most precious years, and then you're the mom who wants to be there, and then you enter in, and the next thing you fucking know, it's 10 years later, you're still not in her position. You did fucking miss out because you might have been physically in your home, but you have all your alerts on your phone. You're constantly plugged in. You're on Zoom meeting after connection after this. Somebody fucking responded. I better respond right away, because if you let that dangle, they'll lose interest. So you're constantly diverted. Your attention is constantly diverted. And I don't care what you fucking say, there is no way to make your way to the top without that obsessed level of tenacity where you don't just go to work and then say bye and then some other present person can care for your child. You don't get that separation. Your attention is always elsewhere.
And she's had a partner for 35 years, so good on him for sticking with her. That's a good relationship you have. Mm-hmm. Unless he's also in on the scam. But where was he in all this? Was he paying the bills? Was there really a gap, or was this just what you were coached to say? Because we've all said shit like this. Mm-hmm. It's not entirely true. Mm-hmm. It's not the full truth. It's just not entirely true.
I've been a waitress most of my early career, because I was on Days of Our Lives for 2 years I played Melissa Horton.
Were you an actress? Holy shit.
Regular family member on Days of Our Lives, living in Los Angeles. And I got written out, because that happens to characters all the time on those shows. I got written out and went back to my waitressing job. Like, people would literally see me and they'd be like, oh, like all the time. Those were my customers in the restaurant.
Did people do that?
Who
does that? I do not think in California, an actress who was, I don't even know how big her role was, but I think it happens all the fucking time that they're waitressing. It's like, it's a trope. It's a thing. We all know this. It's the struggling actor who also works in the service industry. You see this in Toronto as well. Nobody cares. Everybody, it's not a shameful thing to work in the service industry.
Exactly.
It
That's
is
a
not
huge thing. Yeah.
to be trying to evoke sympathy for that situation makes me want to fucking throw a chair at the window.
Yeah, it's just such a slap in the face to people that are really suffering, and it's concocting this, I'm just like you. I struggled. You don't even know how difficult it was when I had so much acclaim and people would recognize me and I felt so good about myself. And then I lost it all and people would be like shocked that I was like, it's not like you're the fucking prime minister and he's suddenly in Tim Hortons taking your order. You're not that fucking important.
Let's look at the payment rate of the typical MLM representative and the typical waitress or waiter or server. Or cashier at Tim Hortons. Let's even look at that, all of it. What is the difference? So she's painting this picture that it would be ridiculous to then go back to the serving industry, and so ridiculous that she would even consider, that she would even second guess this opportunity with her friend Amy Sky.
I made the same story. I'm like, I struggled. I was desperate to find a job. Well, it's true. Was I at risk of losing my home? No.
Mm-hmm.
But we're taught to be manipulative like this, but we don't see that we're being manipulative. Like, we don't look at it like people say, "Oh, you're lying." Yeah, but I didn't think I was lying.
No.
I
Because
really
part
didn't.
of the indoctrination process is the world is in peril and we have the magic ticket. What kind of a person would you be if you wouldn't give everybody the opportunity? I feel like I sent you a screenshot from my story that came back to me, and it's like, I'm sorry for spamming you, but I felt like I had a duty to let you know. And that is what we are indoctrinated to believe. So when it's pandemic time, the rhetoric that was spun for probably everybody in multi-level marketing was like this story of, maybe you were born for such a time as this, to be the savior goddess and help everyone. And can you believe how many people are suffering? Why would you keep this to yourself?
That's exactly that's what we had too. When I was still in rank makers at the time, I was like deep in still at that point. And we were taught, even before the pandemic hit, and we were shamed. It's like somebody's on their hands and knees praying every night for somebody to give them an opportunity. And you'd be so selfish just to hold back just because somebody might say no, or say it's one of those pyramid schemes. It's like
you're letting your ego, you're being selfish. Yeah. You're letting your ego get in your way.
Yeah, and we really feel like, just like in a cult, you're saving lives, saving the world. You need to do this because you just don't know. And then during the pandemic, there was, I remember Ray Higdon, head of Rank Makers, if you don't know, if this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, he came up with this thing called the quarantine script blueprint. It's always a fucking blueprint. And we would say, hi, Brandy. I know we don't know each other, but I'm happy and productive in my home-based business right now. Just curious. Because it's like, oh, that's going to be so enticing. Can you imagine opening up? This did happen. Some stranger, me, sending you a freaking message during the pandemic.
That's what kills me about these people that post remote workers wanted. And what upsets me is that they'll have 68 comments. They'll have all these people who actually need a job saying, please send me details. Please send me details. The whole reason why we're not forthright is because if you were to post, I'm trying to recruit people for my downline, you wouldn't get 68 comments because nobody wants to be in your fucking downline. And the only way you get them in your fucking downline is by being deceptive and manipulative. End of story.
Didn't want to do that. Like I was mid 40s. I had a baby. Like I wasn't willing to just go be a waitress again.
To just go be a waitress.
The fucking privilege. Yeah, I wasn't willing just to go be a waitress. I wasn't. No, I mean, my God, the horror. Like, it's so disrespectful. I mean, if anything else, if you get nothing from this video and you happen to come across it, and I know you're gonna be bent out of shape watching this, but perhaps there will be some critical thinking that's starting cracking your mind. It's just starting to open up. It's like you don't slag other people making an honest living. You don't even know the definition of a pyramid scheme, a scheme of pyramid selling according to Canada's Section 55.1, the Competition Act. You're slagging people making an honest living. Like, it's the worst thing to do. It's so disrespectful.
There just wasn't enough work as an actor. So that's kind of where I was in my life. And I still said no to this. But once I decided, okay, I love the products. I love the skincare. I could totally see how I could sell this to people, like, because I loved it so much. And I decided to start. And I didn't really get Arbonne for a long time. Like, I actually thought.
Bingo. Same as Monet. This is very similar to my journey through Monet. I love the products. I started as a retail customer. I'm like, I'm not going to get on auto ship. That's like one of those pyramid scheme things. But then just you're on the periphery of the cult. And I just was one of the ones that got sucked deeper and deeper and moved to a VIP customer, pay $24.95 Canadian. And all you have to do is make 3 flex ships. You don't have to make a flex ship and auto ship every month. Ours are flexible. Ours are different. I'm already like learning the language. And then I love the product so much. I'd already spent so much money. I'd made so many orders. My friend, my upline said, Julie, you could have already been done these 3 lifetime flex ship requirements if you had have just signed up as a market partner, and you'll save 50% on the products, like with your first product, your product pack. And I'm like, oh, I could actually see myself selling this. I love the products. And like she says that her, Paul said that her skin was really doing well. I had people complimenting me on my hair. It wasn't a leap to be like, this is now a sign. I should do this. I can't get a job. I tank during an interview. Maybe this is my path, Same thing.
Okay, this is, she's about to say the quiet part out loud. This is about to be my favorite part of the whole video, where I think we get an answer to our question.
And this is crazy, but I actually thought Arbonne was a scam, like a pyramid scheme. Like, I was like,
did you think it was a scam?
Crazy.
You're right.
Camila, it is a pyramid scheme. It is a scam. Your thought was right. It hasn't changed, 15 years later.
It is a pyramid scheme.
It totally must be, but I'm just going to do it, and I'll make as much money as I can, as fast as I can, and get out before the police come. Like, that's
I'm just going to make as much money as I can before the police come. So you think that it's a scam, and this shit's gonna blow up, but for the interim, we're just gonna hustle and deceive. Because I don't think you were saying this is a scam to the people you were selling and recruiting. So is this true? Did you think that?
Shame on you. This is absolutely revolting. People have lost their homes. They have lost their relationships. Families are broken up, and it's so flippant. I thought it was a pyramid scheme. Oh, I'm going to make as much money as I can. Are you fucking kidding me? Especially being in Canada right now with everything that's going on. This was posted 10 weeks ago. And you have the fucking nerve to talk about purposefully scamming people like you're owed it, like you're entitled to it, because God forbid you'd actually have to take an honest job as a waitress. Holy shit. But it's okay to make as much money before the police shuts it down. Do you know what's going on? Are you aware? Are you conscious that you are in a pyramid scheme? You're victim blaming, you're gaslighting your downline. Wow, this fucking blows my mind, Brandy. Now I see why you wanted me to react to this video.
Not a great start. But then I got into it, and I started to do my own research, and I started to understand how it worked. And I remember there was like
What research did you do? I'd be really fucking curious. I'd love for you to forward the research that you did on Arbonne to prove that you know how it works. How does it work? We're waiting for you.
big aha moment for me, because I was working the business consistently. Like, I'm disciplined. I'm a disciplined person. So once I decided to own a business, I treated it like a business. Like, I made sure that I was consistent with it. But I remember one night, it was late at night. I was in our little office.
The writing, what's the reading between the lines there is, I'm a hardworking, dedicated person. I treated it like a business. Therefore, you won't, if you're not seeing success, are you treating it like a business? Are you dedicated? Are you hardworking? Has nothing to do with the fact that she got in the ground floor in Canada in 2008. Has nothing to do with her already existing fame and notoriety. Has nothing to do with her positionality or socioeconomic status. Has nothing to do with her beauty and her charisma. Has nothing to do with her access to a different population. Has nothing to do with any of that. She's self-made, clearly.
And
she
your
just
success,
decided.
her downline's failure, because of all the research that she done, she knows that over 99.9% of people must lose. It's a trap. Like Robert Fitzpatrick says in the interview that I did with him about his book Ponzi-nomics, and it was about the anti-MLM declaration. He talks about Arbonne, like every other multi-level marketing pyramid scheme. Their products are the cheese and the mouse trap.
Mm-hmm.
I am just so rattled by the flippancy with which she dismisses so many people's hard work. They're working harder than she is, and they're experiencing more hardship than she is.
Mm-hmm.
People that really can't afford to make ends meet. They can't probably, find a home. They're going to be, their mortgage is going to be coming up for renewal. They're going to be struggling to pay for that. And she says, well, I treated it like a business. You're at the top of a fucking pyramid scheme. Give me a break. So many people that really love the products, that sign up, they believe, they get inspired, they look up to her, or they look up to their, friend or family member that's recruited them into a pyramid scheme, commercial cult like Arbonne. And they think, oh, I have to just work harder. And no, you don't. It doesn't matter how hard you work. You could be twice as obsessed as she is. And it's like Douglas Brooks says, it's like when you getting into like a pyramid scheme, it's like winning the lottery, buying a lottery ticket of the lottery that's already been like called the week before. The winners have already been announced. They're selling you a losing ticket, and she fucking knows it. I don't know if she knows it. A lot of people at the top do know it, and she may or may not know it. I don't know, but it's just so disrespectful. Like, ugh.
It's in our condo, and I looked on. We have something called.
I'm sorry. I just noticed on the pull it up again. I just noticed I hadn't read the caption. Changed the trajectory of my family's life forever. I think I said those exact words.
We all do, yeah.
Called Web Stats in Arbonne, so that's where you see your sales. And a big sale had gone through, like a $500 sale, and I didn't know where it came from. And I was looking through, and it was somebody who had purchased some product from me, who had recommended it to somebody in Nova Scotia, who had gone online and purchased from my business. And I went, oh my gosh, that's how this works. Like, I don't have to be at the point of every sale, at point of purchase for every single sale.
Oh, because you're at the top of the pyramid scheme.
And they're using their affinity to you, just as you used your affinity to Amy Sky, and just your affinity to them. And they're using, in your downline is using their affinity to you to say, you remember Camila Scott? No, I don't think I know who she is. Just trying to actually react. She had this show. The Camila Scott show was a talk show. Not Deanie Petty. Camila Scott. Google her. Okay. Oh, yeah, so she's in Arbonne now, and she's my personal skincare, whatever she wants to call herself. And that's why her skin looks so great. So here's her link.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if it's good enough for them, then I'll place an order for $500. Sign me up.
Yep. And if you have, if you're smitten with a celebrity worship or whatever, you'd be like, I have this connection to this person that I admire.
The parasocial. Parasocial relationship.
Yeah, totally. She said something too where it's like when she had this big sale come through, then she started to understand the business. This is also very important. I experienced this in Monet. You see everybody experience this in multi-level marketing. You don't need to know the compensation plan. You don't need to understand it. Don't worry. You'll earn it as you learn. It'll make sense as you go along.
Yeah.
We
don't overthink it.
Hear that.
Don't self-sabotage by thinking. Don't think. Yeah, do your own research, but don't think too much.
Yeah. You didn't do research, Camila. But your downline's going to. More and more of them are, because of the growing anti-MLM movement. and people naturally losing and looking at documentaries like Betting on Zero, like Lula Rich, like also starting to look at cult documentaries like Love is One, like Escaping Twin Flames Universe. And they're like, holy shit, this Facebook group I'm a part of with you in there is exactly the same way. I'm not allowed to be negative.
Mm-hmm.
People are starting to connect the dots, and it's happening whether you, it's happening regardless. It's just like a tidal wave. It's going to like wipe everything out. I hope you wake up. I don't know if you're fully in on this, but it's alarming the language that you're using from the very beginning, saying it was a pyramid scheme and you were going to do it anyway.
Like, I can actually just give people great customer service. They fall in love with the product. They'll recommend people. Like, I just sort of, and I can teach people how to do this. Like, it just all sort of went, oh,
she makes it sound easy. She makes it sound so easy. Oh, people will just fall, it sells itself. People will just fall in love with it. I don't have to be at the point of every sale. People will just naturally be recommending it. And then I'll get part of that money from all those recommendations that I didn't have to do anything for.
But I'm such an amazing leader. I am vibrating at a higher frequency. I'm getting paid off. Like I'm getting my ego paid off by standing on the stage and getting the acclaim that I deserve in this culty as fuck pyramid scheme, dressed in white.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's when I got really, really serious about it. But it took a while. Like, that took about 4 months for me to really understand how the business was going to work for me.
How interesting, because it took me about 3 months, and it was coincided with the Smart Start period. And I maximized all my bonuses, just like a good little cult member does, you know? I wonder if there was like a Smart Start or equivalent in Arbonne, where it's
they
like
have these like little milestones at the beginning, so that you have, they told us we want them to feel success like early on to hook them.
Exactly.
And then you get to a point and you're like, oh no, the next one's way over there. But the sunk cost fallacy kicks in. You think they don't have like professional psychology professionals who are designing these pay structures and compensation plans? Of course they do. The industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Of course they do. That's what all big conglomerates do. It's what video game companies do. They get psychologists to figure out how to get your dopamine flowing at a natural levels to hook you. It's with anything that's going to be that big of an industry.
That's such a good point, because people a lot of people don't understand the magnitude that is multi-level marketing, the phenomenon that is multi-level marketing. And it's like, well, I wouldn't get sucked in. It's like, you're already sucked in by saying that. Like, you don't understand. Like, you think that you're going to outsmart this system. The only way you can outsmart it is not to get involved in it at all. And that means not purchasing any products, being able to say no to people. These things are so dangerous.
But Julie, we're having a vision board party, and I thought of you because you're such a high vibrational kind of gal. You know, everyone would love you. There's going to be wine. Just come.
Just come and hang out. It's going to be great.
And then I remember saying, somebody's like, oh, I'm feeling really down. And I'm like, these are exactly the moments when you should just come. You won't regret it.
Oh,
jeez. So, nobody stands a chance.
No, they don't. No.
Unless you know what to look for.
Yeah.
And then when you see it and you can't unsee it, and that's when you start wanting to throw chairs out the window. In order to prevent yourself from doing that, you got to make a YouTube video.
Exactly.
And then there was one other moment too. Like, I started the business, obviously, October 20th. I was early, like very early in it, because Halloween, Jack was 3. And I remember going like to the first 3 houses with him, and then having to leave and let Paul take him with all the moms while I went to work. And
what kind of a mother are you?
Yeah.
What kind of a mother?
Moms, it's like, maybe he likes to spend time with his fucking kid. I know this is shocking, but there's dads that really love their kids. Moms.
I don't know. if it was a cold, shitty night and it was Halloween and Neville was like, you know what, gone to the first 3 homes, you just go back and work on your papers. I've got it. I'd be like, really? Sweet.
Yeah.
I don't love my kids any less.
Yeah, it's just a very strange, like, version of what you're supposed to be, like, and what equates to love, and it's all a show. It's all fake. It's all this, like, oh, I can't believe that I, left my kids with my husband with all the other moms. Like, it's just so stupid. It's like, oh my God, like, I need to show up this certain way on social media and even talk about the past in this way to conform to this idealized version that never even existed in the first place. But it just conforms to your cult identity, which is fucking Arbonne.
Yeah. It does. I mean, it definitely is a pain point for a lot of mothers. That's why this in particular really gets me going, is because I did work a demanding job and I wanted to be home with my kids, and I didn't, so I identify with that desire, that dream of like being able to passively be able to earn money and be a stay-at-home mom. Like, I'm not knocking that. Please know, if you don't know me, that I'm not knocking those desires, because that was 100% me. What I'm knocking is that it's a false dream, and I was preyed upon with that dream, and I stuck it out for many years when my children were little, and I regret it. And I look back and I think, wow, if I would have just continued my education, then I would already have an established therapy practice where I'm creating my own hours and earning beyond a living wage, instead of feeling that I had to keep showing up and investing more and doing more and expanding my comfort zone and personal development so that I could achieve this level that was ever moving. I did all of the things. I followed 100%. I wasn't lazy. I didn't treat it like a hobby. I didn't do any of those things. And I would have been better off getting a waitressing job and continuing my education. I wish I would have done that.
And I agreeing with what you're saying. And anybody watching this, if you want to stay at home and raise your children and you're able to, awesome. If you don't, you want to work or you have to work, awesome. It's like your choice. I don't like the shame, shame bullying, shame, and it's used to, like, I know in rank makers, it's mom guilt used all the time. They even use that word, mom guilt. Oh, don't have mom guilt. It's like, I didn't have it until you brought it up. You're second guessing yourself. Oh, I'm like letting my family down. I'm letting my kids down. And
they use their kids on social media. So you're seeing it and you're like, oh man, I'm missing out on all these moments. When I got to the point where I was actually at the point where I was like earning the residual income, but I saw what the system was and how it is built for most people to fail, and I couldn't stomach receiving a check anymore. I hope that if you're watching this and you're still in an MLM, or if it's you, Camila, that you feel some of that, because we used to say I had an ethical and moral obligation to share this. I had a fucking ethical and moral obligation to tell the truth. But because I was now dependent, which you may be, I racked my brain, like, what the fuck can I actually do so that I can still stay home with my kids? Because that was, we were at a point where, we were homeschooling. We homeschooled throughout the whole pandemic, and I didn't want to completely have this upheaval for them. So how could we continue our life? And I started babysitting. I was like, oh, I don't know why it took me that long to think of that as an option. Doing childcare, boom, Bob's your uncle. You're staying home with your kids. Like, there's no shame in whatever. Like, what I'm saying is that there are other ways, and that to sell this as the way or the best way is completely delusional and dishonest and deceptive. And especially when young children are fucking involved. and they're becoming little puppets for the cult as well. That's so wrong. Remember, your children are watching. The one post that you made about children growing up in these commercial cults and how they're going to wake up and go, you know, we're in the age of these children growing up and having to deconstruct from fundamentalism, for example. We're going to come into the age where these children are going to have to deconstruct from growing up in a commercial cult and being plastered all the fuck over social media, unboxing and stirring their drinks and drinking the smoothies and all that shit, and they're gonna be like, what the fuck?
Yes, you used me to sell what, you know, people bounce around from MLM to MLM too, like paparazzi jewelry, and then Monet, and then iGenius. It's like it keeps going. It's like their childhood is on display. They were used, and it's like that. There's so many facets of this that just, when you start to wake up and question, can start tearing you apart inside. And like what you had said, you know, talking to Camila about this, as you start critically thinking and looking at what you're actually doing and encouraging your downline to do, you will feel like there is no other choice because you're in a cult. It is like it's Arbonne or nothing. It's already early on. It was like, I'd have to go back to waitressing. It's already like amplified, even though you might have felt like, oh shit, this is a blow to my ego. I feel like, you know, people should recognize me and like give me like proper deference. Once you get into Arbonne, it's like, even that memory is skewed way the fuck out of proportion.
It was just like, it's so unfair, and I have to miss everything, and I'm gonna cry even just thinking about it. But I was so sad that I didn't get to take him out for Halloween on his very first Halloween, that I had to just like go, and he didn't even care. Like, he was
emotional manipulation. When I say it's emotional manipulation, maybe if you're watching this and it's like quite evident, then I apologize. But I think there's a benefit in explaining this, especially to people who are starting to wake up and you're like, wait a second, what do you mean that's emotional manipulation? So if you have a job, if you're like struggling to make ends meet, or you want to have more time with your family, and this is an example that you can identify with, where like, I missed Halloween with my kid this year. Maybe it's not the exact same scenario. Maybe it's not the first Halloween. But this year you have to work and you have to pick up some extra shifts. If there's anything in that area, she's pressing into that. This is a hook. This is a vulnerability for you. Your love for your family and your kids and wanting to spend time with them, she's got it, and she's just snatched you on the internet. And you can see how powerful this is via video.
But then once you're in, and then the leaders show up, card is played. I missed my daughter's first ballet recital because I had to take my team to conference. And I know she'll thank me later. So again, the both sides of the mills, which one is it? Is it not missing the moments, or is it leaders show up? Because you cannot fucking have both.
Yeah. And they don't have both, you know. It's so good that you said that, because they say that to recruit people to get them in, but in practice, the cult takes priority. The cult takes priority over God if you're a person of faith. The cult takes priority over your family. The cult takes priority over yourself. Arbonne takes over the priority, and they say you're doing this for your family. No, it's not. It's for Arbonne. It's for her upline, or it's, if you're in her downline, it's for her. You're just paying more and more money is going up to her, and then going out of Canada into the US.
It's like running off with his buddies. But I just remember thinking, this business, I just hope this works for me, because I really, really, really want to be in his life in a way that I can't be right now because I'm working.
The only way that you can be in your kid's life, is what I'm hearing, is to be an Arbonne. This is the only way. So that's what you, is that what you see? Like, yeah.
I really want to be in his life, and this is my last shot. I'm either going to be in his life with Arbonne, or I'm not going to get to be in his life.
What I don't like about this bullshit is they're saying that it's so selfish, and it's almost like they're blaming their kid. They're putting this on their child, and they don't realize they're doing it. The child senses all this stuff. It's like, oh, mom is doing this for me. Oh, mom is, mom is doing Arbonne for me. And she's doing it for herself. When you're in multi-level marketing, you're not doing it for your family. You're doing it. It's not even doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the cult.
But anyway, so that's how I got started in Arbonne. I said no, and then I fell in love with the product, and then I said yes. And, you know, I've been sharing with you guys some of the things that I'm grateful for over the last 15 days with this business. But I think the most important thing that I want to make sure that I have gratitude for
is that you haven't yet been lost all your downline. If you should be like really happy with that, because over time it's going to tank. I'm just letting you know. More and more people are starting to speak out, especially in Canada, and you need to do your research, Camila. You need to figure out what the fuck is going on with Arbonne. You are in a commercial cult. You are in a pyramid scheme. I know you love the products, and I know that you're probably, you're deep in, but your downline is hearing this, and you're gonna have a more challenging time recruiting people. Your downline is going to have a more challenging time recruiting people because they're going to be coming across fuckers like me.
Is myself. Because it was really hard to start this business. A lot of people thought I was crazy. A lot of friends thought I'd sold my soul, that I'd given up something. And
they're going to be so happy when you get out. They're going to be there for you. They are. I said the same thing.
Finally, Camila, remember her? This is what people say to me. They say, I didn't totally get it. I didn't some of the things people say to me is so cool to know what they were thinking when they were observing me, and they just kept their boundary, and they were right there when I came out. They were right there to say, I'm so glad you're out. I'm so glad that you're using your energy in this way instead of funneling it all into a cult.
Exactly. Like, oh, Camila, if you do, wake up and get into therapy right away, because you've been at the top of a pyramid scheme and you have done a lot of damage to a lot of people. And even when you start waking up, the unfolding of all of this is going to take months and months and months. This is after you wake up. You may never, maybe you know what you're doing and you're like, I don't even care. I knew that this was a pyramid scheme from the beginning, and I don't give a fuck. I want to make as much money.
Police haven't come yet. I'm still making money.
Therefore, it's okay,
It's so hard, she says at the end. It was so hard. Can you imagine if you're not in on the ground floor 2 years after it launches in this country? You don't have notoriety and fame and a big connection, connections, reputation, access to, media. Just consider all of the benefits she comes in with, and still, at least she's honest enough to say it was hard and that everybody thought she had lost her mind. That's true.
They know you're in a cult, Camila. Yeah. They know you're in a commercial cult. They've watched The Vow. They're like, oh no, she's in Arbonne. Oh my God, it's the same thing. I remember making a live video mocking people that were my friends, where it's like 1 week I'm normal and the next week I'm full on into the Mon-8 cult. And I said, oh, people are asking me, what's wrong with you, Julie? I was mocking them, my friends, and they were fucking concerned about me the same way that they think you're crazy. I don't think they said that they think you're crazy. I think they're really concerned about your personality, your behavior that's changed. Just like it happens with all of us. So they're still there. Your friends, those are actually your real friends. They're going to be there for you.
But it's hard to turn your back on the adoration and the love bombing and the stage recognition, and to imagine, how am I going to fill that void, right? I wasn't in that position, and that wasn't why I was doing it. But yeah, just trying to put myself in her shoes. I don't know.
That's a good point too, because it's that it is that fulfilling that desperate need to feel very important and integral and loved, and a lot of it at scale. So having a public persona, having a show, or being in a movie or whatever, and then
having wisdom that you can impart on people, and they're just lapping it up,
and feeling like one of her other vulnerabilities is feeling such like shame about only doing waitressing. Like, I'm built for more. That's a narrative that you hear a lot of people, say. So I'm made for more. I want to maximize my potential. My gifts are being wasted, and it's like, this really fulfills it.
Yes.
I want to see her get out. Can you imagine if she got out and she started to like sneak out just now and then? Oh my God. You could help so many people.
There was a really renowned, maybe the best word, but like very big influencer, who I cannot remember her name right now, but she was she was an influencer who had courses, and she started selling essential oils, and she got up fast because of her fame and her already existing audience. And then she got out and she made a statement about it, and it went viral. And she said she noticed things were wrong, and she tried to change it from the inside first. And then she realized they're not really actually interested in changing it. And then she left and she spoke out. And you could get a lot of recognition with your audience and your notoriety by doing the right thing.
It was people were not kind.
They were kind. Sometimes being honest is the kindest thing you can do.
Because I believed in myself, and I believed that.
No, you got in near the beginning of a pyramid scheme. It's not that you worked harder and that you're so disciplined. All those things can be true, and you're in a pyramid scheme. That's it. That's all it is.
That I was going to make this work because I knew that other people had, and I knew that there wasn't any special requirement. It just was going to take hard work.
Wait. Yeah, no special requirement. So you don't need to have interpersonal skills. You could be like totally awkward as fuck and like kind of like inarticulate. You don't need any special skills, any ability to public speak, follow-up skills. You don't need anything like that. You just need to be willing to work hard. Work hard doing what? Because you can work your ass off doing busy work so that you're adding value and make nothing and be completely exploited like the majority are.
And it's such an insult to the people in her downline. And if you are in her downline, I just want to commend you for working as hard as you have. And I know you really love your Arbonne products. And I encourage you, like Brandy had said earlier about reading Ponzinomics by Robert Fitzpatrick. Start looking at what you're a part of. There are one of my coaches in Rank Makers was in Arbonne for 8 years and qualified for the vehicle. She's done an interview on Life After MLM. She's also on season 3 of the Dream podcast, which is something else you might want to check out. So she was in Arbonne. She understands that the language, the culture, and you're in a commercial cult, and your upline is Camila Scott. You're in a pyramid scheme.
And I was willing to do the work, and I really believed in me. Like, I just thought, okay, I can do this. I believe in it.
Isn't this weird? It is the cult playbook. All you need, all this business requires is belief.
Delusions of grandeur. You know what? I knew somebody with like real delusions of grandeur, like for real. And it got really messy and weird when they took literally what they were being told and trained and like applied it. Like, can't get into a lot of detail giving personal information away, but this is why it's so tricky from a mental health perspective to just be like spouting off this magical thinking, because there are people who will be like, okay, I'm taking you for face value what you're saying here. Okay, I have a complete delusion of grandeur, check. I can do anything. I got it. Okay, confident. And I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Let's go. Then they fucking burn out, go into debt, lose their house, Like the possibilities are limitless.
Yeah. And it could be, I'm surprised Camila isn't saying she's has a direct line to God, because that's where you're headed.
You
Because
probably have to be like in her inner circle for her to give you those
maybe
downloads.
that's it. Yeah. Because, that's the next natural step. It's like you feel like you have this divine, you're already feeling like, I work so hard, I believed so much. You're in a fucking scam. You don't believe your way to the top of a scam. That's just part of the garb that needs to be sold to your downline and everybody else to, I just have to believe. The only thing that is required for this business is to believe. It's so stupid when you're outside of this, but when you're in it, you're like, oh yeah, she's saying that she has to really believe in herself. I remember Amy Murphy, she was in Mon 8. She's still in Mon 8. She was in Canada. She was a Canadian top Mon 8 market partner. And she gave this speech at Rank Makers Live. And she said, I just would go on my hands and knees in the shower every morning. And I would thank God that I was a senior executive director with Mon 8 before I was, because I had to believe it before it manifested. And I remember taking fucking notes and being like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I was fed that. You're already a leader. This was the line that was fed to me. You're already there. The numbers just haven't caught up to you yet. So I'd be like, okay, so it's inevitable. Okay, I'm already there. I am already there. So how long does a person get exploited? Like when does it end?
Yeah.
When does that come to fruition? Oh, another level, another devil. Obviously there's something else for you to slay there. Only you know. Pray about it. Pray on it. Onus is on you.
Yeah. Something just occurred to me too. There's almost like this reinforcement of the belief that you're special when you're at the top of one of these pyramid schemes, because it's like also a commercial cult, a destructive commercial cult, is that because automatically more than 99% of people must lose, this just reaffirms that I'm special. I really do work harder. So they just keep seeing, it's like that confirmation bias.
Yes.
It's like, no, actually I am better than all of you. And when I go on stage and I stand here and I'm talking and I get to see myself on screen, it's like, it's even more proof. And you're like, you're in a weird ass cult called Arbonne with their fizz sticks.
I did do things that other people didn't do. So I was definitely like, affirmed in that my willingness to go above and beyond. And affirmed in like, this is why you're here and this is why they're here. Like, and then there was these visual things, like they would have bingo cards that you had to complete and submit with your income producing activity on it. And mine would be insane. Mine would be like, instead of a check mark, I would write in write in 48 on the one block. So it's like, obviously I'm where I am. Look at my bingo card. People, look at my bingo card. That's not normal. Nobody should work that hard for what I was getting paid. Nobody should work that hard and be that devoted. That wasn't normal. Somebody should have told me to calm the fuck down.
Yeah. No kidding.
But it was like, only in the echo chamber. Only the people, nobody else knew. Nobody else saw that. Only the echo chamber sees it. And then they're like, well, yeah. And then everyone's like, you weren't making 6 figures? No, I wasn't.
Same. So similar to me too, is that because I was paying for 100K inner circle coaching, people assumed that I was making 100K. In my network marketing business, and I wasn't. It was just called 100K inner circle because the appeal, like
the law of attraction is the law.
You're gonna get to 100, 6-figure income once you get into our coaching. And in that group, it's crazy shit like that too. They had this thing called the Weekend Warrior Contest, and they would just come up with all this nonsensical busy work, and it's I was prospecting, I've said this so many times, at my peak, I was prospecting 200 people a day, and I was following up with 40 people a day. And there was people that were doing a lot more than I was. None of us were getting any customers or recruits. You might get 1 or 2. And we kept thinking, like, You just got to keep going. It's a numbers game. And they would bring all kinds of examples and stories of how somebody kept going. And then eventually it worked. So we're so busy. We're so invested by continuing to like purchase coaching, and then being like in this group of everybody else working really hard. We felt so badass. This weekend warrior contest, it was like this bingo card. And I remember one of the things was like the tasks is you're supposed to go to a grocery store and get your like picture taken with a stranger with like a banana or an eggplant or something stupid like that.
Oh my God.
At this time I was already on TikTok and I'm like, I don't need help like going out and doing shit. Like I'm not going to going out taking a picture with like a stranger. And that was, you know, there's a few times where I remember
That's
I
behavior
really
control.
remember where I was like, I was pushing back, but it was that environment of like filling out that bingo card. Like you said, you were going above and beyond even like what that task was. You would have fit in well with 100K inner circle coaching.
Oh yeah. I already started down the Ray Higdon funnel. I was already, there's people that do his coaching within my group.
Myself, and I believe that I will make this work for myself and my family. And here I am 15 years later, and I love it more today than yesterday, and every day more. And it's truly been the biggest blessing in my life. Like I cannot imagine my life without it. And and if you're somebody who's thinking about it, you know, don't overthink it.
Don't even think about it. Don't overthink it, and don't think it, and don't even do your research. Just jump in. It's so fantastic, everyone.
The water's warm, guys. Get in.
It's so easy to say no, but it's just as easy to say yes. I mean, I always say to people, you know, you have nothing to lose with this business, like literally.
More than 99% of people must lose money. And Camila, I have another question for you if you happen to watch this, or if you're in her downline. When was the last time that she coached you on just tracking your expenses versus how much money you're actually making, your income? Just take a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle, and put income and expenses. And every time you get an Arbonne notification in your Gmail or Yahoo, and you're like, oh, this is how much I've been paid, then also go through your credit card statement and see, like, what are you paying for your back office fee, if there's a monthly fee, because you need to track it. With Monade, it was $19.95 a month if you wanted to see what your customers' flex ships were coming up, what the contents of the cart were, what their when their birthday is. It was like sold. Any, you know, other flash sales or other sales, all the products you're buying, add that up. When was the last time she coached you on that? Did she ever? And if not, why not? Also, if she believes this is a small business, what is she paying in Toronto for a home business license? It's pretty steep. Do you not pay for a business license? Oh, why do you not pay for a business license? Is it because you're not a business owner? These are important questions.
If you decide.
And also about like losing, you are guaranteed to lose. Most people, over 99% of people must lose. So it's irrelevant if you make money, and if you're watching this, you're trying to understand what's being said here. You're winning, you're making money at the expense of people losing. That's the only way these scams work. It's not, people aren't buying fizz sticks outside of Arbonne. It's only Arbonne partners, whatever you're called, you're the brand partners or whatever, you're the consultants. That's the most, the bulk of the sales. Those sales are paying her. If you get to the top of the pyramid, those sales are paying you. It's nothing at all like getting a job where your boss is paying you. You're not paying your boss. If you want to make a comparison to like the structure of a triangle, which is not the definition of a pyramid scheme, but compare yourself to Amazon or Walmart. Are all the people working at Amazon and Walmart paying the boss and working for free? No. That's what you're doing with Arbonne, and that's why she's sitting pretty 15 years later, pretty happy. Started off her career not being concerned if this was a scam and a pyramid scheme, just to make her money before the police came. Can't even make this shit up.
To do it, it's $59 to start a business, and you get your own website. Like it's a
total no-brainer. Holy fuck, it's almost like business in a box, like Amway. Wow, it's the exact same thing as Amway.
What can you lose? Well, we can tell you.
Friendship, family, 5 years of your life, growing up with your kids, you're losing vacation time with your family, personal growth, like actual personal growth, professional growth. Like if you wanted to go to school or get another, an actual job and start progressing in your career, you lose everything.
Yeah.
You have everything to lose. People lose their relationships. People have their kids, their relationships with their kids have been destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
People have lost their homes. People have gotten second mortgages to pay for a fucking actress that nobody knows who the fuck she is, that was too embarrassed to work as a waitress. They're getting a second mortgage on their home to buy fucking Arbonne because they believe what she's saying. Wake up. This is horrifying.
Negligible, right? That amount of money for what you're going to.
$60 is not negligible. $60 is a lot of money for people right now.
Mm-hmm.
$60 is a lot of money for people just at any time. And for you to be so dismissive.
Yeah,
Sorry,
we would do during the holidays especially. So, well, like Boxing Day, no partner fee. So it's literally not. This is how they get you working on your what should be family time. Well, fuck, I've been hustling so much. Now they're waiving the negligible fee entirely? If you've been sitting on the fence, now I'm hustling on Boxing Day. Thanks a lot. Thanks a fucking lot. Yeah. So you're losing your time is not negligible. Your attention is not negligible. Having to work in the stolen moments, that means you're not ever fucking relaxing. That means you can't even take a shit without being on Facebook Messenger. It's not negligible. Mm-hmm. It's your mental health. It's your relationships. It's the most beautiful moments of your life. It's taking a moment to just look out the fucking window.
Yeah. Without any kind of thinking of like how I can make this for my business, this transaction, you know, it does literally change the trajectory of your life because you're now in the integral part of the Canadian arm of this global cult, which is Arbonne. You're in a commercial cult. You're making an Instagram live video trying to recruit people into a commercial cult. It's
and
pyramid.
You're so evangelical about it that if somebody doesn't agree that this is the way, then your relationship is strained and you're talking about them behind their back because you're saying, fuck, she could really use this and she doesn't see it. And there's this us and them, us versus them mentality that's created. So even if these people are still in your life, they're not in your life in an intimate way because you're talking shit about them in your cult. You're a liar if you say that you're not.
Yeah, well, she's doing it on a live Instagram video right now, talking shit about all the people that said she was crazy. It's like, haha, I proved you wrong. Look at all my money. They've been proven correct because you're at the top of a fucking scheme. Mm-hmm. You've scammed all these people. You have been, whether you are a knowing perpetrator or unknowing, you are part of the same kind of pyramid scheme we've all been part of. You're just at the top and you're making bank and you feel justified doing it.
You get for it. You're going to get a great discount. You have a tax shelter because you now own a small home-based business.
Oh, really? I'm going to be pulling up that thing from CRA Canada where it talks about the warning put out by Canada Revenue Agency, where it shows like MLMs, watch out for MLMs. So I would be interested to see what advice she's giving you. So if you are a home-based business, what business license are you paying for? Like in what community? You're not paying for anything. I know this. I'm just putting it out there. So as you're starting to wake up, you're starting to critically think, you're like, this is yet another contradiction. Mm-hmm. Not a home business.
And that's the worst case scenario. You're using
No, it's not, because over 99% of people lose it. If you had actually done your research and you listen to your friends who might be watching this right now and they're like, holy shit, somebody's finally fucking saying something. Maybe she'll actually wake up and we'll get our friend back after all these years. If you had have done your research, you would know that over 99% of people must lose across multi-level marketing. Arbonne is no different. You're one of many. You're nothing special. You're hurting people. You're at the top of a pyramid scheme and you're hurting fellow Canadians. How the fuck do you sleep at night? It is time to actually do your research. Please, actually do your research. We've had to do this. So many of us have had to struggle with a term. It's called moral injury, where you're like trying to reconcile what we did to people when we were in MLMs, and we didn't know it. We're just so brainwashed. But I know I talk down to people. I did shit like this too, and you have to live with that. You know, you have to make amends, and it's going to be hard. But
amazing, safe products that are B Corp certified.
I've been looking for B Corp certified. I've been looking for that. B Corp certified.
Here you have it.
What is that? What is that? Nobody knows that.
Yeah, and when she got recruited, you know, she didn't even have a 5-step skincare, but this is like this B Corp. This is like with Mon8, we're like, we're vegan and we're Leaping Bunny certified. Like, nobody gives a fuck. Everything is Leaping Bunny certified. I never even knew what Leaping Bunny certified was until I was in Mon8. And then, you know, after I've exited, I'm looking at products. I'm like, oh, there's that symbol. It's not unique to Mon8.
Yeah. Ours was NSF certified. It's like, yeah, everything is. Everything's NSF certified.
You're like,
not a big deal. Not a big deal.
That you have this incredible independent consultant discount on, and a tax shelter.
A tax shelter, really? I wonder what Canada Revenue Agency has to say about having a tax shelter with MLMs. I'm just fucking curious.
Worst case scenario. Best case scenario.
I don't know. Worst case scenario.
Beg to differ. We beg to differ. We're not getting paid to make
worst
this.
Case scenario. Fucking Nexium enters the chat. You can't make this shit. What's the worst case scenario? Oh my god.
Worst case scenario, yeah, they make a fucking docu-series about you.
What if it did work for you? People are so quick to say, what if it doesn't work? I'm like,
it doesn't work.
Anybody that has criticism just sounds like a complete doofus and an idiot. You have to
what if it doesn't work?
I'm a powerful ENVP with Arbonne. Don't you know who I am? I was in We Will Rock You. I don't know if you know this, but I used to be an actress. I'm also an ENVP. I'm an entrepreneur. I can help you with your mindset. I can help you explode your Arbonne business in 2024. Let's go!
Like, what if it works? What if you become even just
what if? What if it works? That was the, oh my god. We had a whole fucking video called What If? And I can't tell you how many times we watched this propaganda piece of shit where fucking people are dying in hospital beds. What if I wouldn't have called blah, 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 whose daughter was it, but goes on and on and on and on. And you're like, and the music is like this. do, 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 do.
What if? What if I hadn't called my friend Amanda, who was diagnosed with lupus at 26 years old? What if I hadn't have read Mickey's post on Facebook about her taking her daughter Aurora again to the hospital? Aurora has spinal muscular atrophy, the #1 genetic killer of kids under the age of 3. What if I hadn't told Nancy, who had had several miscarriages? What if we hadn't contacted Luke, whose daughter Faith had open heart surgery at the age of 8?
And you're just like, wow, she was so brave. What if she would have been selfish and kept it to herself? Then Jane would be dead. And so they hype us up, play this at on this big screen through these speakers, and we're all fucking in the hallway. Send in the link. You know what? I was too shy to reach out to you before, and then I just saw this video and I thought of you. What if you can now start having babies? Because they feed us this so that we would reach out to the most vulnerable of the vulnerable and feel okay about it, feel like we're doing the right thing. It is so fucked up. What if?
What if, and I'll also, what if it works is that they will get to the top of a pyramid scheme and have to deal with the moral injury of having scammed and defrauded and exploited and psychologically and emotionally and perhaps spiritually abused their downline for maybe 15 years. That's going to be what if it works. There's only one way it works in a fucking scam. You're in the scam, you're losing, or you're at the top. That's a black and white, because over 99% of people must lose. They're working harder than you. They're better than you. They're, that's what I'm, just trying to, because people that are at the top of these schemes, they really have a power over their downline when people believe that they're a better human, and they're not.
This is exactly why, like, one of the big top 3 reasons why I speak out is because I know that people think, well, she is just something defective with me that I didn't succeed, because they push that narrative subconsciously or overtly so hard so that you leave with your tail between your legs, feeling like you just didn't do the work. You did more than enough. You are more than enough. And it is designed this way. And you should be mad that they made you feel this way, because it's not true. So what if my husband, actually, I have a husband of many years as well, who supported me through my cult life, thank goodness, and supported me on the way out. And he said, what if you never got involved? And I was like, oh man. So don't what if on us, Camila. Yeah. Don't you fucking what if on us.
No. Oh. Get out, and we hope that if you're watching this and you're in Camila's downline, whatever country that you're in, maybe you're in Nova Scotia, maybe you're walking by one of those many encampments, tent encampments, and you're appalled at hearing this like flippant way of just dismissing work and getting paid 60% less, where there's this real, like, getting a $500 order of inflated products that nobody buys. Nobody buys these Arbonne products outside of the Arbonne representatives. There's going to be a few customers here and there, but they all eventually sign up for the amazing discount.
Yeah.
If you're in her downline, I encourage you to start looking, like what Brandy said, read Ponzinomics. Start looking at other anti-MLM content. You're already here. You've got nothing to lose. Nobody needs to know.
Oh.
And it doesn't matter what your opinion of me or Brandy or anybody else, it doesn't change the fact that you're in a fucking pyramid scheme, and that's the truth.
Something that I wanted to mention, I had lost this thought earlier, was the idea of, if I could get a celebrity in my downline, then just got to keep trying. And I just want to say, I don't know if you ever did. I did get a celebrity in my downline.
Tell us.
You got to read. Actually, it was funny because she reached out to me after I made a Facebook post saying like my big announcement, and she said, "Way to go, you brave woman." And she just said, like, she was proud of me, and that she felt pressure from those above me, but never from me. But she was technically in my downline, and it's not. That means jack shit. They're just a human being. They're not necessarily going to exploit their fame the way that some do. They're not necessarily going to do that. They might actually have boundaries, like the woman that was in my downline. They might actually not feel okay about that. So you should also read Hey Hun by Emily Lynn Polson, because she gets an influencer in her downline, and that's a juicy story. So you can see how another way it could potentially turn out.
Manager, and you earn an extra $500 to $1,000 a month. Like, would that change your life? What if you did what I did and you went all the way to the top of the company?
Well, then you'd be scamming everybody, because you'd be defrauding people, and there's a very, very high chance you're also psychologically and emotionally abusing them. You're gaslighting them. You're lying to them. You're lying to yourself, and you're in a cult. That's what would happen. That's what's actually happening. I know we're stopping this so much, but we both have a lot to say.
Like, what if, right? Anyway.
Stop saying what if! I'm gonna throw something!
very triggering. What if, eh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's like me and the word posture. I hear posture and my head whips around so fast. I'm like, don't fucking say it.
That's it for me. I'm less nervous, but I'm hot because I just feel like, holy crap. And I don't know how to turn this off. I'm just assuming that you hit the X. But anyway, thanks for listening, you guys. And yeah, if you're interested. Oh, you know what? I wanted to say another thing because my son was chatting with Jack today, and he's at university. He's in Halifax at Dalhousie, and he sent me a message. Says he's like holding up empty boxes. He's like, "Mom, I need gut health, Mom," and he needs mind health. He said to me. So we have a product called Mind Health that's great for cognitive function, and any of
great. It's like it's just shilling these MLM products again. Can you imagine? It's like still. So your son was 3, now he's in university, and now he's
Still,
he's trying to like recruit people at Dalhousie, like into fucking Arbonne. Mom, I need this. And it's like, I need mind health because that's the only way that you can learn at universities to take Arbonne supplements with which who knows what the fuck is in them. Oh my God. You know that last part right before she started like going into a pitch again, it was like the most genuine part where she was like, you know, like hot and uncertain and didn't know how to turn it off. I thought that was quite endearing. To me, that was like a glimpse of the real Camila. I don't know, maybe it's not, but that's what it felt like to me.
of you out there that have kids that are in university, you know,
if you have kids in university, I suggest you ask which professor believes in pyramid schemes and maybe might be affiliated with the Direct Sellers Association, like in the video that I just made. I'd written the Dean of University of Calgary's Haskayne School of Business to ask her official statement on an Associate Professor Emeritus, Derek Hassey. Do you want to send your kid to a university after you've woken up from being in part of a pyramid scheme and the abuse, the exploitation, and have to argue with your professor saying, "Oh no, it's a legitimate business"? Are they going to fail you?
I would just love my kids. My kids, they see it everywhere now. They'll be like pausing a show and be like, "Mom, you got to watch this," because they see it. They see it everywhere. They listen to my little bit culty. They're like, please, can we please hear it? And I'm like, there's a couple swears, and anyway. Your children are always watching. And you can.
Yeah.
What's that?
Wouldn't it have been great, like, you know, if we had have grown up knowing what to look for?
Oh my God.
You know?
Yeah.
Knowing what a cult is, knowing what pyramid schemes are, knowing what multi-level marketing is, pyramid schemes and commercial cults. It would have made such a difference. Could have avoided all this stuff, you know?
There's a really good, actually, if there are any parents out there, I'm currently been looking for like critical thinking tools for parents. And there is a podcast called Smash Boom Best. And it's a debating podcast where they'll debate like jellyfish versus narwhals or just different things. But so it's very entertaining for kids. But in it, they'll take a fallacy like a debating fallacy, like different tricks people use to win arguments. And so they're teaching critical thinking in a really fun way. So I just wanted to throw that out there as a resource for parents, a fun, like very palatable resource.
But there's also I would listen to that. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, there's also, I know, Spot a Spider, which you can follow on Instagram, which I think that's really cool what they're doing, which is going into schools and educating kids on how to spot tricky people out there in the world and groups, right? Because it's everywhere. And I just think I'm really passionate about figuring out how we can, because kids are just so used to looking to authority and being agreeable and all of that. And how can we show them young how to think critically and not feel like they're being bad or being disagreeable? So
that's awesome. Thank you.
Jack starts every single day with a fizz because fizz is better than coffee.
Oh my God. I forgot what we were doing there for a second. Like, oh shit. Jizz is back.
This is good, but jizz is better.
Mind Health, which just helps him focus. 2 amazing products. So I just thought I'd add that. I don't know why, but anyway.
You know why that
God put it on her heart. That's why.
God, yeah, it's just always about the pitch. It's like, how can I still use my family? It's like, oh, it's going to help them focus. No, it doesn't. These are baseless claims.
Yeah.
It's powder. It's like you're drinking Kool-Aid. We'd say drink the Kool-Aid. Yes, I know it was like they actually drank Flavor Aid in Jonestown, but still, like most people think of it's like drinking the Kool-Aid. Your son is literally drinking the fucking Kool-Aid, and you've been drinking the Kool-Aid for 15 years. That is funny, and that's ironic, and you even have to admit that, even if you don't like what I'm saying.
Dreading trying to stop this because I don't think it will, but I'm going to try. All right, guys, have a beautiful, incredible day. It's October 20th. It's my 15-year anniversary. Yay, me. Bye, guys.
Yay. Yay, you. Have a beautiful day.
Oh, man. That was rough. Thank you for recommending this. I know I can see why you wanted to comment on this and react to it. I hope that, actually, you know what? You have the final words. What would you like to say?
Oh my God. Sorry. I don't have anything prepared. Okay. So this is the thing. This is why this was on my heart, was that when I was getting out, and I don't know if you're going to see this, people that were in my downline that are still in, but I know that rumor on the street is, why didn't she just talk to me? And it's because it's a tangled web that you weave, and then you've got to fucking not get your ass kicked. Like, how do I get the message across in a way that's safe? So I leave these breadcrumbs out there into the world and hope that you see it, and then come and talk to me. I'm here. So I'm doing what I am free to do that won't get me into trouble. That's what I'm trying to do. And one of the dilemmas that I had was, should I have a conversation with the leaders? Should I have a conversation with the famous celebrities that recruited me? And I thought, fuck, they have to know. They have to know, because they've been doing this for 20 plus years. And at some point, don't you see, like I saw, that most people are failing? At some point, doesn't something happen where you disconnect for a bit and get your own thoughts back and go, oh shit, I've been complicit in some harm here. And I mean, complicit is a hard word to say, because, you know, at what point do you draw the line between victim and perpetrator? But I think it's that willingness to eventually be like, no more, I've got to do the right thing. And I felt like it was hopeless. And so I wrote an open letter to celeb, because I thought, finally at this point, 6 months out, I'll put it all out there. And I'm not going to send it to them directly because I think they know, or I don't think that they'd be willing. But now it's out there into the world. And if it gets in their hands, great. And somebody that I know did use this to send to their former upline. And their former upline said, please do not send anything like this to me again. I have partnered with a wonderful company for over 20 years. I'm so sorry that somebody has hurt you. Goodbye. So I don't think they even opened it. So my last thoughts are not thoughts of hope and optimism, but more so that the people in the downline feel like your intuition was right. Get out while you can. Get out sooner than later. There's lots of resources out there to help you rebuild. You can rebuild, and, you know, look back and know that you did ultimately do the right thing. And it takes a lot of courage, but it feels a lot better than cognitive dissonance and pushing down your intuition and losing yourself.